Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining. I am doing a video today on open water swimming, and most of you will have probably seen that a lot of open water venues in the UK are opening now. Some of you might have been lucky enough to get into the water, some of you might be looking to get into the water for the first time, and I think that's amazing. But what I thought I would do is make a video on some tips for open water swimming, how to become a better open water swimmer, how to get more comfortable in the open water, because I think that's really important. And I am by no means the best open water swimmer in the world. This chap over here will remind me of that, and that's why I'm joined by my good mate Freddie Webb. Yo yo.
Alright.
And he's going to be running through some tips with me on open water swimming. And he's actually a lifeguard here at Bobster Quay, isn't he?
Yeah, so there's lifeguarded sessions in the morning, 8 to 12, and evening sessions 6 till 8. So I do the evening sessions so I can train during the day. And today we've got in just before I start work and done a bit of filming for you guys.
Jumping straight into it, tip number one, Freddie, what do you think?
Swim somewhere familiar. So if you're new to open water, coming from pool to open water, I'd suggest using somewhere where there's still water, so e.g. not a river or sea swimming, just so you can get familiar with the new settings. Then as you get more confident, build into these river or sea settings, just to help build confidence, but also your ability within the water.
Number two, Freddie, take it away.
Swim with a friend, preferably a friend that is a similar ability. This can help make the session more enjoyable, and you can both swim together like me and Harry have today, and just pick a distance, swim that distance at your own paces, have a good fun and make it as enjoyable as possible, because you don't want to make it boring or a burden.
Yeah, that's the thing, like swimming with someone's similar ability, you both get something from it, rather than if you're the better swimmer it becomes boring, but then if you're the worst swimmer you not only feel bad but you also get your ass handed to you and it's not very fun. Tip number three, take it away.
So tip number three, I'd say, is probably the most crucial one during this difficult time after COVID, which is building your swimming back up to your ability. So when you first get in the water, do only a couple 100 meters to start building that fitness back up, and then use the ladder effect of the more you get in, the more you add on to that session until you get to a distance you know you're comfortable doing. And I'd also suggest, if you've had COVID-19, do your research on the effects it has on your body, because it has some huge effects to do with the heart and lungs, which will ultimately affect how much you can swim and if you can do any exercise at all. And I would also say these points are critical when you've come to open water swimming as well, because especially if you're at a venue which is unlifeguarded, or you're going in the river by yourself, which is not advised but some people do, you need to know the effects, what could happen, dangers around that, because you want to keep yourself as safe as possible but also others as safe as possible.
Obviously, open water swimming is completely different to swimming in the pool. If you're a really good pool swimmer, you might not necessarily be a very good open water swimmer, and vice versa. If you're not a very good pool swimmer, you might be a very good open water swimmer. And so Freddie and I thought I want Freddie to run through some quick technique tips or things to focus on to make you become a better open water swimmer. And it's not just all down to who's the fittest swimmer, is it?
Also, I'd say open water technique varies quite differently to the pool. So my three key points would be stroke rate or length. especially around moving water, so in rivers or sea you want to have a higher stroke rate so you can keep on top of that flow of water. Tip number 2, bilateral breathing. This helps to even out your stroke and help keep you in a straighter line, which therefore means you go from buoy to buoy quicker, but also in the shortest line possible. And 3, I would suggest regular sighting. So in a venue like we have here, from buoy number 3 to buoy number 4 is about 150 to 200 metres. So you want to sight every 6 to 8 strokes, depending on how straight you swim, to keep on track of that buoy so you're not snaking too much. 'Cause otherwise your swim will look like your Garmin file, which is everywhere. And you don't, that is good sometimes, but it can be a bit demoralising if you've done a 750 lap and you know you're capable of doing that in 10 minutes and it's taken you 15, so 50% more just because you haven't been able to swim in a straight line.
We should call this video Tips with Freddie.
It's not massively open water related, however, quite a lot of us have been doing a lot of bike and running during lockdown and the last 3-4 months, so I would suggest building that swimming back up slowly, but when you're doing this also reducing your bike and run volume. Those with coaches, this should be happening, but when you're self-coach you can get a bit carried away and be absolutely loving the water again, but also you're running and riding, and if you don't reduce, it just means you have a massive program that ultimately you can only cope for with 1 to 2 weeks, and the idea is to get consistency within training, so getting those bigger blocks ticked off as consistently as possible with those hours. So obviously reducing your bike and run volume will allow for you to reintroduce that swimming. I'd also say, with the prospect of no races this year, don't rush getting back into the pool or open water, purely for the fact that there's no need to. If you've had a good 12 weeks just biking and running, then why not do that for a couple more weeks, get that block, get that consistency on those 2 elements, especially if you're weaker in those 2 areas. But I know a lot of you will be anxious and want to get back in the water, which is good, but you just need to build back up slowly. No heroes on that first session back, because that will then make a massive dip in your training because you'll be so tired.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, get in, by all means get in the open water, but enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Thanks so much for watching the video, you lot. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, as always, please like, share, comment and subscribe if you haven't done already, just by clicking over to my right. And if you want to watch another video from my channel, just click below and I'll see you in the next one.